Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report. Mitchell Renz from Chat Sports, and on today's show, we're going to get into the latest going on around the Raiders' whole coaching search. Are they finally going to hire an OC? We're also going to be breaking down some free agency rumors and a Raiders mock draft from ESPN. So the way that I'm starting the show off is this, and this has literally just happened as I am filming. Aaron Wilson basically reported that the Las Vegas Raiders are expected to hire Carolina Panthers defensive passing game coordinator and defensive backs coach Jason Simmons to coach their secondary, according to league sources. So again, you're seeing more coaches go ahead and being brought in here to the secondary. What I would say is this, a very sneaky name to keep in mind now to be a top candidate that the Raiders could go out and sign in free agency. Stephon Gilmore has the obvious connections with Josh McDaniels and that whole group, and Gilmore also went to the Carolina Panthers last year, so the Raiders need a corner. Definitely a name to keep in mind. Dante Jackson as well. All right, let's now talk about the latest going on around the Raiders, and are they finally going to hire an offensive coordinator? Well, they hired Tom McMahon yesterday as their new special teams coach, and I've been getting asked a lot, all right, Mitch, what's going to happen here at the OC? Are they even going to hire one because Josh McDaniels is the offensive-minded dude? Everything that I've heard is obvious that the Raiders are going to hire an OC. It just has yet to be named. They requested to interview Drew Petzing, who is the Browns tight ends coach. That was on February 4th. The reason why I want to bring up that date is because the Raiders requested to interview Tom McMahon on February 2nd, and then they hired McMahon yesterday. So what I'm wondering is, like, all right, they requested Drew Petzing. They did a homework on him. Could they potentially be hiring him this week as the OC? McDaniels likes to use two tight end sets, and for Petzing, who is a very, very smart guy, runs a lot of two tight end sets with Cleveland, and he is the only OC candidate as it stands right now that Vegas has announced that they are going to interview. In terms of some of his past coaching history, Browns tight end coach from 2020 to present, Vikings wide receiver coach in 2019, the Vikings quarterback coach in 2018, assistant wide receiver coach in 2016 to 2017, and then the Vikings offensive assistant from 2014 to 2015. He also goes back even further a little bit where you got the Browns football operations intern in 2013, Yale outside linebackers coach, Boston College grad assistant, and then Harvard volunteer assistant. What was that one thing I keep saying? The Raiders want guys that not only are football minds, but are very smart and intelligent and know how to teach. If you go to Harvard, I don't know. I think you got to be pretty smart to be able to go to Harvard. So who do y'all think is going to be the Raiders offensive coordinator? Please go ahead, look into that crystal ball, try to predict it. Let me know what you're thinking. I mean, as it stands right now, I almost have to say it's Petzing for the simple fact of he is the only person that the Raiders have announced. I do know this, though. As soon as the Raiders do announce a offensive coordinator, I don't care if I'm home, if I'm in the studio, me and my team, we're going to go ahead and get you a video as quick as humanly possible, break it all down for you, tell you everything that you need to know. So all you need to do to make sure that you do not miss the information is hit the subscribe button underneath this video, and then also make sure you go ahead and turn on those notifications. Literally, it looks like a bell. You can click that bell, click all. That way, you never miss a thing. So one of the jobs here that I have at Chat Sports is to find other articles, go ahead, break it all down for the nation, and that's exactly what I'm going to do here. So the latest story that I saw from Bleacher Report was predicting the landing spots for the top 2022 NFL free agents at every position. Well, the top projected cornerback is J.C. Jackson from the New England Patriots, and I told you all, as soon as some of these guys went out and hired Josh McDaniels, you're going to see a lot of old Patriots players be connected to Las Vegas. Well, the Raiders were projected to get J.C. Jackson. They were not projected to get Devontae Adams, and obviously Las Vegas needs a cornerback one. Jackson has proved that he can fill that role, and he would be able to step in right away to basically any defense he personally wants to, which is very important because Patrick Graham is going to go ahead and play all these different roles on this Raiders defense. As it stands right now, here's what the Raiders cornerback depth chart looks like. You have Trayvon Mullen, who is a solid cornerback too, but he has shown me that he is not ready to step up to the plate and be a true cornerback shutdown one type of guy. I love Casey Hayward, but he's going to be a free agent, and with the fact that Gus Bradley is with the Colts, personally I think if Casey Hayward was smart, he would go to Indianapolis and sign there. You got Keyshawn Nixon, Desmond Trufant. Yes, Nate Hobbs is a stud in the nickel, but you need another cornerback. So insert J.C. Jackson, who had 58 tackles last season, 23, let me say that again, 23 pass breakups, and 8 interceptions. He leads the NFL with the most interceptions over the last 2 seasons combined. He was second this season behind only Trayvon Diggs. This guy is an absolute stud at the cornerback position. So now's your opportunity to be Ziegler. I almost said Mayock there. It's a habit. Type Y for yes, or you can type N for no. Should the Raiders go out and sign J.C. Jackson? Y for yes or N for no. For those of you that are typing your Y for yes, he is right now my number 1 rated cornerback on the free agent market. For those of you typing no, I think the only legitimate way you can look me in the eyes and say, no, Mitch, I don't want the Raiders to go out and get J.C. Jackson, is if it comes down to money. Because I have Gilmore at number 2, and now Gilmore's definitely my number 2 with the hiring that the Raiders just did at the defensive backs coaches. Carlton Davis is another solid name. Casey Hayward is my 4th best or 4th highest rated free agent cornerback. And then DJ Reed for Seattle. But when it comes down to Jackson, he's going to need a hefty payday. In terms of the highest paid cornerbacks per year, you got Jalen Ramsey. He signed a 5-year, $20 million contract. Marshawn Lattimore, he signed a 5-year, basically $97 and change million contract. Marlon Humphrey, Trey White, Darius Slay, and then 5 more names to just kind of keep in mind. When I thought about how much money the Raiders would have to pay J.C. Jackson, I took a note out of Jalen Ramsey's most recent contract, and I took some note out of Marlon Humphrey's most recent contract. So if the Raiders were to go out and get Jackson, here is my projected contract that they would have to offer him. I'm thinking somewhere around 5 years, because that's essentially what you're seeing a lot of. Total is $99 million. If I was J.C. Jackson's agent, I would try to get him more than what Jalen Ramsey got. But if I was the Raiders, I would say, J.C., you are a great corner, but you are not better than Jalen Ramsey. So how about this? Instead of $100 million, we'll give you $99, guaranteed at $69 million, because Jalen Ramsey got about $71, which is then puts you at $19.8, the second highest paid cornerback in the National Football League. So if you don't like those numbers, you're like, dude, that's way too much money, then here's the thing. You're not going to get J.C. Jackson. With a year that all these players took 1-year deals, you're going to see a lot of guys, now that the salary cap is going up, they're going to look for those big-time paydays. And I know it's a lot of money, but J.C. Jackson at 26 years old, you get him as your number 1 cornerback for the next 5 years. I don't know about y'all. That sounds pretty darn good to me. Now, even though the Super Bowl 56 doesn't feature the Raiders, and I know a lot of y'all are probably still a little bit upset about how the whole Raiders and Bengals game went, but I'm going to be watching the game, and unfortunately, we didn't get enough yes votes to convince my bosses to do a watch party here, so unfortunately, I'm not going to be doing a Super Bowl 56 watch party, but I do want to know who you got. Type LAR for the Rams or CIN for the Cincinnati Bengals if you want to go ahead and bet on this game, and damn it, you should bet on this game. It's the Super Bowl, for crying out loud. Go to chatsports.com/Raiders. I'm going to say it again in case you were picking your you-know-what. Chatsports.com/Raiders. You got to use promo code Raiders125. That gets you the 125% deposit bonus. And if $125 for free on top of the $100 that you put down isn't a good enough offer, for first-time BetUS users, I am also going to throw in a free Raiders jersey. Now, the 3 jerseys that I have, I got Darren Waller, Hunter Renfrow, and Josh Jacobs. So for first-time BetUS users, so the only people that go to chatsports.com/Raiders, use promo code Raiders125, and then you go ahead and get signed up, put down a $5 bet. We are also going to send you a free Raiders jersey. All I want you to do is send me your account number to the email that you see below, jersey@chatsports.com for the details. If you blacked out because you heard Raiders jersey, we'll walk you through the details. Just email me, jersey@chatsports.com. Now, if you also want to go ahead and bet on some other Super Bowl odds, we got Matthew Stafford at +120, Joe Burrow at +225 for Super Bowl MVP. Personally, I usually say whatever team you think is going to win the Super Bowl, bet on that quarterback to get MVP. I put my money on the Bengals. I also bet on the over in this one. And I like Joe Burrow at +225 to go ahead and win Super Bowl MVP. But with that offensive line, I am a little bit worried about Aaron Donald down here. All right, y'all. So coming up now here on the Raiders Report, ESPN, they released a brand new mock draft, and with the offseason, obviously, we're going to talk a lot about free agency. We're also going to talk a lot about the NFL draft. So as it stands right now, Las Vegas has the number 22 overall pick in this upcoming draft, and I'm going to walk you through this mock by ESPN. That way you guys can kind of just see overall what exactly happened in this, and then I'll tell you what the Raiders did. So picks 1 through 5, Evan Neal, offensive tackle from Alabama, Kayvon Thibodeau, Aiden Hutchinson, Ikem Ekwonu, Charles Cross. Those are your top 5 picks. Quarterback goes off the board really early here, Malik Willis out of Liberty. Really starting to like this kid a lot. Derek Stingley, Devin Lloyd, Garrett Wilson. 11 through 15, you see another quarterback come off the board, and Kenny Pickett. David Ajabo, Traylon Burks, Trevor Penning, which was a guy that I really liked. Going to Baltimore, Jermaine Johnson. That's actually pretty high for me. And then you got 16 through 19. The Eagles have 3 first-round picks in the top 19. That's pretty wild to me. Ahmad Sauce Gardner, Jordan Davis, who's starting to become my heartthrob. Matt Corral, Tyler Lindenbaum. This would have been a hell of a pick here for the Raiders. And then you got Sam Howell, Andrew Booth Jr., and then now on the clock, it is the Las Vegas Raiders. So before I tell y'all who the Raiders went ahead and picked, I do want you to go ahead and give me a follow on Instagram at Mitchell Renz 365. I talked a lot of news. I talked a lot of rumors today on my IG story. And in fact, if you want to know what happened to one of the Raiders' assistant defensive line coaches, I posted it on my Instagram. So go ahead and check it out. It's just another reason to stay up to date on everything going on around the silver and black. So after walking you through that ESPN mock draft, here are the 10 best players available on my board, all right? These are the 10 guys that have not yet been taken. You got Drake London, USC wide receiver, Chris Olave, Ohio State receiver, Kenyon Green, Texas A&M offensive lineman, Nakobe Dean, one of the best linebackers in this year's draft, Trent McDuffie, he's the top cornerback available still, Jamison Williams, wide receiver out of Alabama, DeMarvin Leal, Texas A&M defensive tackle, Zion Johnson, a solid offensive guard, George Karlaftis, Purdue edge rusher, and then Travon Walker, a Georgia defensive lineman. So those are the 10 best players on my board. But if you were on the clock here at number 22, you're Josh McDaniels, you're Dave Ziegler, you're like, all right, who should we go ahead and pick after all those picks that you just saw? I want you to go ahead and let me know down in the comments. ESPN decided to go with USC wide receiver Drake London. Now, if you guys have been watching the Raiders Report, you'll know that I really am starting to fall in love with London. He's 6'5", he's 210 pounds. This past season at USC, he had 88 grabs, 1,084 yards, 7 touchdowns, and then he got hurt. Like, this kid, he played basketball at USC from 2019 to 2020, a freak athlete. And here's what Jordan Reed, who basically was the one that did this mock draft for ESPN, had to say on the Raiders drafting London at 22. The Raiders have a great slot receiver in Hunter Renfrow, but they don't have an outside receiver like the 6'5" London, who could be a great target for quarterback Derek Carr. London had 88 grabs for 1,084 yards and 7 touchdowns in 8 games last season before a broken ankle ended his season. He towers over defensive backs and can make contested catches. The Raiders are moving in a different direction under new head coach Josh McDaniels, and London's yards after the catch ability could make him tough to stop in McDaniels' offense. Now, I've often said that, hey, I like Garrett Wilson, I like Jamison Williams, but Drake London, to me, has the highest upside out of any wide receiver. You know, a lot of people might say I'm crazy for saying this. He honestly reminds me of like a mix between Chase Claypool, DK Metcalf. Like, he is just this absolute freak of nature athlete, and if you could put him on the Raiders, dude, this would be a hell of a pick here. Now, this also means this, that the Raiders got a good right tackle in free agency, because I think if you go with this route, you better have gotten a solid right tackle, maybe like a Morgan Moses in free agency, and it also probably means that you missed on getting a solid wide receiver one. More than likely means you didn't get Allen Robinson, Chris Godwin, Devontae Adams, OBJ. None of those dudes were available to you. That's the only way that you can sit here and explain to me why Drake London went number 22 overall. So now's your opportunity. Let's say we're sitting here a few months from now. It's April. I'm live on the Raiders Report, and I go, with the 22nd pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, the Las Vegas Raiders have taken USC wide receiver Drake London. How would you grade it? Would that be an A grade? Would it be a B, a C, a D, or an F? Go ahead, let me know. Personally, for me, I do think it would be an A pick because it is a major need for the team. I love Drake London. I think he would be a great player no matter where he goes, especially in a Josh McDaniels, Derek Carr-led offense. But you guys can go ahead, let me know what you're thinking. I want you to go ahead and grade the pick.